we kind of have the podcast topic ready made for us this week
Oh, don't
because
sound like that. Stop it.
what do you mean? What
Just
do you mean?
revert back. You revert back to just
To what?
boring.
Well, what
Okay,
I'm
add
trying to
the
say,
spice.
Team Wood Games, they have put.
Teamwood Games.
That's not what I sound like. Thankfully, we've had our topic chosen for us this week because Teamwood posted a question on their Twitter, which I think we can both say we found interesting.
We did find it interesting.
We are currently fixing the final bugs in the Golden Pack before pushing it out for public testing. Soon. Also got a question for you all. How do you guys and girls feel about the current difficulty for Arena Mode in Super Auto Pets?
Difficulty. To be fair, I do think the difficulty is fine. I don't find it too easy. I don't find it too hard, but I can't put my finger on it. I don't think it's perfect either.
The one niggle I have with the game, but I have this with every sort of game where you build, you try and build something, is that it just always feels like it ends too early. But maybe that's the point. You're not supposed to build that broken team, because if you could, it would be, would be in balance.
Well, yeah, and then you'd have to face those teams later down the line, and you're still going to be behind no matter what.
In the non-weekly sets, I can reliably get 8 to 10 wins, so it's on the easy side. Now, I agree with that with Pack 1. Pack 1, easy.
So is it the packs that are more difficult?
I don't think it's the packs. Well, I do think it's the packs, but the difficulty comes from if maybe most people, well, the newer players are playing Pack 1 because that's the one that's free. And I think Pack 1 is the easiest by far. Some people just like Pack 1 because it's simple and they don't want to have to learn a new set of pets, and that's fine.
Which I understand that. I do understand that. Because sometimes it's just like, I've been playing a pack for so long, I'm just like, oh, let's just go back to Pack 1. Let's go back to Pack 1. That just feels good.
Pack 1 is safety.
It is safety. That's the comfort zone.
But what do you think about this, though? The person said, I can reliably get 8 to 10 wins, so it's on the easy side, but they like the current level of difficulty.
The thing is, the question isn't about like if it's non-weekly or not. It's just arena, isn't it?
That's why I think the question is
This is why it's so broad. Yeah, it's too broad.
A bit too vague. In my opinion, it is too hard for new players. It requires a specific mentality, much different from what you'd normally have in Customs Public, one that players don't get help or advice with on how to go about it. The game itself doesn't really make it clear what your aim is, because some would say, well, your aim is to get 10 wins. But I wouldn't say that's necessarily true.
Okay, so
like
what
now
is
my aim isn't necessarily to get 10 wins. My aim is to build a cool team. Like,
so do you think like when you open up the game, like when you're a new player, it should give you a selection of like, what do you want to do? Do you want to get 10 wins? Do you want to build a good team that synergizes together? Or
I don't think it should give you an option, but I think it should say something that basically tells the player that it's okay to not get 10 wins. It's okay to just build a cool team and experiment. Like, the game isn't about getting...
Yeah, but how do you do that?
Well, I think, a small little intro message when you first pick up the game would be fine.
Would you read that?
Yeah, it depends how it came up. Like,
I'm the type of gamer that would just skip any sort of thing that's telling me what to do.
well, not if it's... I think if it's done in a specific way, like as part of... like the tutorial bit, the one they have now where it's like, pick a pet, pick a food, roll... I think it's just placement. Placement is important.
I do like the idea of like for new players when they come in, it's just like they're forced to kind of make a certain team. A structured tutorial where you're offline and it's just like you go against a computer.
Yeah.
But it shows you the synergies that you could use. The possibilities are endless, really.
Exactly. Arena just seems like luck, which granted a lot of it is, in all fairness, but the luck comes from who you go against more than what you get in your team. Getting a good strategic team should be a little more rewarding, in other words. Some parts I disagree with on this, and some parts I really agree with. Because
I don't think it's luck.
I don't agree.
I think there is luck.
It is luck. But there is a lot of luck. And
it's not just luck.
No, but I do agree with the fact that the luck comes from who you go against.
Do you think that sometimes, like, you know how you can be on like a run of like it feels like you're gonna get a flawless win,
Yeah.
and then you get to maybe 2 wins away,
Hmm.
and you just lose from then on, and just every team's better than you.
Yeah.
What is that? Is that luck, or is that just like you haven't progressed?
I think you haven't progressed. There's a really good example of where you can see that happen, where if you play Pac 1 and you play horse cricket and a B at the back line, you will get so many wins so quickly. You'll get to like 5 or 6 wins, but you will tail off like insanely
Yeah,
because other teams have now started to be better than your teams. And I
starting
think
to get
that's
some
the really good
potatoes.
example where you can test it for yourself.
Because I never knew what that really. It felt like I was just not progressing, but then when someone says it's luck, and you kind of gave that example, I was like, well, could that be? Could that
I think
be
sometimes it can
luck?
be. I think it depends. I think when it's consistent, when you're consistently getting beat, then that's probably less likely to be luck. One thing I also think is good about this, getting a good strategic team should be a little more rewarding.
I feel like sometimes I can just find a strategy, and then I just don't have enough lives to sort of see it through.
Yeah.
But again, I guess that's me just losing early and being bad.
I don't know if it's you being bad because I think that's common. The fact it's so hard to get a good synergy means it's so rewarding when you do hit it. After all that tangent and discussion and
I'm no
straying
closer.
so far away from the question,
I feel like it's closer to perfect than the other two.
really?
And harder. And yeah, I mean, it's not too hard, but it's not too easy either.
I think it's closer to too hard.
Do
Well,
you?
I don't know.
I mean, I think we find it a good.
It's definitely not too easy.
It's not too easy. I don't think it's too hard because if it's too hard, hardly ever win. But I do win, so it's not. It's not too hard. Like you win quite often.
Yeah, but
It's
it's
not
not.
too hard either. But
Well,
it's yeah, but it's not perfect. But it's closer to perfect than anything else.
well, I don't want to say it's
But
perfect
then
because
I. But
saying
then I don't.
something's perfect.
That means they're not going to change it or
Well,
make
exactly.
improvements, which was my thinking.
But even that, even it's not even about improvements. I'd rather say something is slightly off than something is perfect because perfect saying something is perfect means you don't ever need to change it. There's no
Are
room
you
for
happy to
change.
say that arena is too hard? Yeah,
Yeah,
it's too hard.
yeah.
So you think it's too hard?
Well, I'm happy out of these three options to say yes, arena is too hard. So I'm going to click is too hard.
Okay, go on then. So what have we learnt here?
Nothing really.